Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right. Yep. The Bear says there's not going to be a Nico Saturday. He doesn't think so. But the founder of On3 says Nico's playing. This is getting crazy. This is a lot of people speculating, and I'm not sure where Bear got all this information, but I'm going to let you listen to it for yourself.
And that being said, I don't know what you have heard about Nico IAMALEAVA playing this week. I have heard that it was a bad concussion, and people that I've spoken to do not believe that he is going to play. We'll see what happens. Josh Heupel certainly offered a different tune, as you would expect him to do early in the week, to probably just have Georgia prepare as if Nico were going to play, have the college football playoff selection committee prepare to rank them as they were going to have their starting quarterback for this game. So I mean, look, maybe my intel is wrong, and maybe he is fine, and hopefully for his sake and the health of him in the long-term future, I hope that it wasn't a bad concussion. I hope he is okay, and I hope college football fans get to see him out there on Saturday. I'm sure some Georgia fans probably don't necessarily want to see him, but that still being said, he has struggled throwing the ball.
All right, so that's Chris Fallica. He's known as the Bear. Now, many of you may not know exactly who this guy is. He used to work for ESPN. He's kind of one of those guys that gives out gambling odds and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he's not a big fan of Tennessee, and I did a show on him 2 years ago, which hit my memory bank, so I went back and looked at it. And first of all, I'm not happy with him going out and saying that about Nico, but secondly, he made me go look at one of my videos from 2 years ago, which was not a pleasant experience because I was not very good at this. So I had to watch my my own video from back then, and it wasn't fun. But anyway, here's a little clip from it so you understand he does not like Tennessee so much. It says ESPN analyst getting roasted for controversial Tennessee comment. It says fans are coming for ESPN's Chris Fallica, the Bear, from College Game Day after recent comments he made regarding the end of the Tennessee-Missouri game, insinuating that the Vols beat Mizzou by too much. It says replying to a tweet from Jason Lisk of College Rankings asking why Tennessee kept scoring. And here he is. He says, I genuinely want to know how the coaches on the committee will feel about that. Look, I'm all for letting backups play, but this feels like a little too much. And a lot of responses were, what does the committee's feelings have anything to do with picking the top four teams? Another asked, shucks, they scored too much. Let's pick a team that'll get beat by 30 in the playoff. And that came from Diamond Vols. Then another of all said, it's the other team's job to stop the other team in the field. It's not our obligation to just take a knee. The only thing I wish is that we could have gone ahead and scored 70. Smokey Vol said, one of the worst takes I've seen in my life. Now we're apparently not getting into the playoffs because we were meanies. So he wasn't too happy that we ran up the score on Missouri, even though all our backups were in. Our backup quarterback, our backup running back, and our backup guard and tackle that he ran behind. Mizzou, at some point, look, this is the team that stands on business.
Yep, we stand on business, Josh.
So I don't know what the big deal is. But anyway, that was back when there was only 4 teams in the playoff. And this is pretty typical of a national media type that they are not real big fans of Tennessee. You know about Pat Ford Day and his anger over Greg Schiano and that whole situation where we didn't hire him, and he's pretty much had it out for us ever since. And, of course, the thing that really upsets him probably the most of anything is that we took the NCAA down over the whole Nico thing. Remember, everybody got so upset because Nico got a plane ride from California to Knoxville. He was supposed to hitchhike, I believe, or pay for it himself. So the NCAA tried to wear us out over that and give us, they were talking the death, or Pat Forday was talking about the death penalty because we would be repeat offenders. And my position on that, and I've stuck with it the whole way, we gave him an out. We told him, don't do this. We worked with you, came clean on the whole thing with Jeremy Pruitt and laid all the evidence right there for you, did the right thing, and you praised us and all this crap. And then you come back for a second dose, and we warned you and said, don't do this. You're going to regret it.
Don't be a fool. We can do this easy, or we can do it real easy.
So they did it anyway, and we took the NCAA down, and there's a lot of folks in national media that are not happy about that. So who knows? Maybe he heard something, maybe he didn't. But here's an important thing. The founder of On3, who was also the founder of 247 Sports, said this. He is playing. That's Shannon Terry, and if anyone would be in the know, it'd probably be him. And, of course, everybody's talking about this. Pete Thamel said Tennessee quarterback Nico is in concussion protocol after leaving the state game with an injury, not returning to the sideline for second half. He did dress and practice Tuesday, and his status for the Georgia is undetermined. So he did dress and practice Tuesday. Now, I've been trying to find all this stuff out as much as I can, and I was actually watching Off the Hook with Dave Hooker and Caleb Calhoun, and they had Jimmy Himes on the show today. And they were talking about it, and Jimmy said, he's not a big fan of Bear. He thinks he's a little bit overrated. But anyway, he doesn't think he knows anything more than anybody else. Dave Hooker, who had been on the phone calling around, and understand Dave Hooker's way more attached to Tennessee than Bear will ever be. And he seemed to think that he would play Saturday. He wasn't sure, of course. But I would go with what Dave thinks over what Bear thinks, over pretty much any of them, including Shannon Terry, or Terry Shannon. I don't know, it's one of those two. So anyway, there's obviously a lot of speculation. We may find out a little bit more as the week goes on. They'll come out with the injury list. They'll probably put him as probable. And then that may change Thursday and Friday and all the way up to, 90 minutes before the game. And here's what Coach Kirby Smart had to say.
He's such a high-level athlete, and some of the runs he's made, I knew the kid was a great thrower, but I didn't know he was this kind of athlete and hitting the speeds he's hitting GPS-wise. And he made a run on Alabama that was really elite. So just recognizing his skill set is a lot, and then trying to prepare for kind of two guys, because philosophically, I don't know how they'll approach it with the other quarterback.
So I'm sure they'll prepare for both quarterbacks. They haven't really have any choice. And of course, some in the Georgia media think Georgia's just going to whoop us. I mean, they think this is not going to be a problem at all. And I showed you this yesterday. They're not concerned.
Let me get out ahead of it. Tennessee is fraudulent. They're overrated. Georgia's going to beat them on Saturday. Period. End of discussion. Georgia's going to beat Tennessee on Saturday. Take it to the bank. And
as you can tell, that dude's not worried at all. He's guaranteeing a win. And I know some of the UT football players watch this channel, and I hope you saw that they're not sweating you at all. Matter of fact, some in the Georgia media are kind of like this.
You can't go with what you are. Have you read the papers? Do you know what everybody says? It's suicide. You've seen him. You know how strong he is. You can't win.
Oh, yeah. They're saying Tennessee can't win. Guaranteeing wins, that we're a fraud, all that kind of stuff. Now, most football players I know don't appreciate that type of talk, so this is good bulletin board material for sure. I mean, that's pretty much calling you out as much as you can be called out. So I think Tennessee is going to be coming in there with a chip on their shoulder, and rightfully so. And whether we've got Gaston Moore, a fifth-year senior who I think is a pretty darn good quarterback, or we've got our number one quarterback in Nico, which I think there's a very good chance he plays, it may not be so easy for Georgia. We'll see. It depends on how Tennessee shows up and how hard they fight. But the folks in the Georgia media don't seem too concerned.
So why are you doing this?
Because you can't win, Rock. This guy will kill you to death inside of 3 rounds.
You're crazy.
What else is new?
Oh, yeah. So come Saturday night, this is going to be a heck of a ball game. Look, it couldn't be a tougher environment. Georgia at night. We don't know if we're going to have our starting quarterback. They've had our number for years and years. They've been at the top. We've been trying to get to the top. Look, at some point, you've got to take down the best. Now, no matter what happens with this playoff, if we win this game, we'll get in. Because if you take down Alabama and Georgia, both in the same season, they're going to let you in the playoff. But they're looking for an excuse to keep Tennessee out. I have no doubt of that. So Tennessee might be in a situation to where this is the playoff right here. This could be an elimination game. There's still a chance at 2 losses, but, man, I'm telling you, we could get creaked big time. And I wouldn't even be shocked if they picked Alabama over us, even if we had the same record, even though we beat them. You saw what they did last year. It's nothing for them to take that into consideration and just pick the team they like. So if you want to keep it out of politics, we may have to go down and take the king down. And again, Tennessee always has to take down both kings. We're the only team in the country outside of Auburn that plays Alabama and Georgia every year. So it should be a heck of a night. We'll see how it goes. I know nobody thinks Tennessee can win. You're favored by what? Georgia's favored by 10 points. Nobody thinks Tennessee can win. We'll see. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know. Continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, hit this little button right over here. It won't cost you a dime. It helps you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay. Man, I hope Nico can play.